Welcome back to the channel, boys. Fevlinski's coming at your neck with this Glacial Inheritance Titan build. Now in this build, obviously we're going to try and spam our super as much as possible. We're using Glacial Inheritance. We're also using some elemental well mods, so let's go ahead and break it down. So obviously we're on the Behemoth Titan subclass. We have our Glacial Grenade. Now we're using Howl of the Storm, and we're using Tectonic Harvest as our aspects. Now I see a lot of people ask me, hey, how do you have 4 fragments on? As you guys can see right here, I have 4 fragments available, and that's because I'm using Howl of the Storm and I'm using Tectonic Harvest together. As you guys can see, this one allows you to have 2 fragment slots, and this one also allows you to have 2 fragment slots. So when you pair them both together, it allows you to have 4 fragments. If you're gonna play PvE, honestly, get rid of Crowdclasm. This is, in my opinion, I do not like this for PvE. I thought the main reason, back in my old video, the reason I said Behemoth was the weakest subclass is because of this one right here. I do not like this aspect for PvE. I honestly think it's a waste. Just having a logger slide and break, like you can break the stasis crystals, whatever, I don't care. But Howl of the Storm is fantastic, so get this aspect if you don't have it already. Now speaking of fragments, the fragments I have on are Whisper of Torment, so I gain grenade energy each time I take damage. I have Whisper of Shards, so whenever I do shatter any of my stasis crystals from my grenade or Howl of the Storm, it boosts my grenade recharge rate. I have Whisper of Fixtures, so that damage when I do blow up the stasis crystals has a bigger radius, does more damage. And I also have Whisper of Fractures. Your melee recharges faster when you're near 2 or more combatants. Does take a little bit away from discipline though. As for my loadout, we're using Extraordinary Rendition. I have Overflow Thresh. This is a fantastic gun. I highly recommend getting it. It has so many good rolls. This is just one of many, Overflow Thresh. I also have my first and last out with all-loading Demolitionist. I can also switch it to Vorpal, but I just want to have Demolitionist for this build. And then we got Cold Dwello, all-loading Cluster. You can use whatever here. I just, rocket launchers are nuts right now, so that's why I'm using this. As for my stats, we got 28 mobility. We got a flat 100 resilience, meaning my barricade is on a 14-second cooldown. As you guys can see right here, I'm using Heart of Inmost Light again. So having a 14-second cooldown on my barricade is going to make this exotic very nice. We got 50 recovery. We got 60 floor discipline. Honestly, this is going to be much higher because of my fragments I have on for my subclass. Now we got 50 intellect. Now I do have on some elemental well mods, so this is going to be much higher than 50. And then we got 33 strength. Now onto our helmet, we got a minor discipline mod on. Now we got double ashes to assets, so I gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. So whenever my glacier grenade does blow up and kill any enemies, I get bonus super energy for that. Although I should be running an ammo finder because my weapon does have overflow on it, but honestly, I don't even care. This is more about super spam than weapon kills anyway. And then we got taking charge, so whenever I pick up an orb of power, I become charged with light. On my arms, we got an intellect mod. Now we got double SMG loader, and if I need to, I can swap this out for like overload SMG or whatever. But having double SMG loader just makes my reload that much faster. And then we got elemental ordnance. Defeating combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. Picking this up, it gives me ability energy, plus it's going to proc my build and help things get going. And onto my exotic piece of choice, which is Heart of Inmost Light. I've been using this exotic so much recently, I'm starting to fall in love with it. It's like right up there with Phoenix Cradle for me right now. I love that other exotic too, but Heart of Inmost Light is top tier. Now I'm going to go over the armor perk. If you guys don't know it already, pretty much if you use one ability, it gives you faster cooldowns than the other abilities. If you use your barricade, your melees and grenades do more damage. If you use your melee or grenades, your barricade can take more damage. So pretty much just buffs up your other abilities. It is a fantastic exotic. As for the mods, we got a resilience mod. Now we got concussive dampener. We got melee damage resist, pretty basic here. But then we got fonts of wisdom. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants you a temporary significant increase in your intellect, improving the recharge rate of your super. Now as you guys can see right here in the bottom right, my intellect is 50, and I'm pretty sure this gives you 50 plus to your intellect stat. So picking up an elemental well is pretty much going to give me 100 intellect for however long I can change this together. It lasts 30 seconds, so if I pick one up and then I happen to pick up another elemental well, it'll reproc it, give me another 30 seconds. So if I chain together, I can pretty much infinitely have 100 intellect paired with 100 resilience, and then my discipline's going to be much higher as well because I have some other mods on. Plus I have that one where if you break the stasis crystal, it increases your grenade recharge rate. So there you go. I pretty much have a lot of high stats with this build. On my legs, we got a resilience mod. Now we got double innervation mod, reduce grenade cooldown each time I pick up an orb of power. I mean, you can put on ammo scavengers, but I just want to be able to ability spam with this build, so double innervation mods it is. It's going to be a lot of orbs of power everywhere, so might as well just get that. And then we got firepower. While charged with light, regain a portion of your grenade energy each time you use a grenade, consuming 1 stack of charged with light. This plays into my ability spam with my grenades, which is going to allow me to proc elemental wells, which is going to get my super back. Oh yeah, you guys can already see what's going on here. And on my Titan mark, we got a minor resilience mod. Now we got Glacial Inheritance. Defeating targets with your stasis super, refund super energy. This is what the build is focused around. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm trying to super spam with this build. So this gives you, I wouldn't say half, maybe like a little under half of your super back, depending on how many enemies you kill. But I noticed it's like past that little first tick, like the first like quarter mark on your super bar. It's like a little bit past that, which is pretty nice, honestly. If you get that just for killing a couple enemies with your super, I'll take that. Plus I have elemental wells, so it's gonna be very nice. I have a lot of supers with this build and the thresh weapon. Now my other mod is Bomber, reduce grenade cooldown each time you use your class ability. This plays into my ability spam as well, allows for more elemental wells to spawn. And then we got Elemental Light, defeating combatant with your super spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. So I only had 1 mod slot left on this Titan mark, so I figured I would throw this one on there. So once I'm done with my super and I kill some enemies, I can just pick up the elemental wells and just start my build all over again. It's pretty much constantly going. I pretty much always have very high intellect and getting abilities back because of elemental wells, because of my blowing up the stasis crystal recharges my grenade. I have 100 resilience, Heart of Behemoth Light. There is a ton of abilities spam with this build. And as for my Titan fashion, I don't even know what I was going for here. I just thought it looked really cool with the lights here and the lights there. I don't know. I think it looks sick, and plus I love these arms for the new ornament set for this season with the bull right here. I don't know. I think it looks sick. If you guys like it, shaders will be in the description below. So in this gameplay you're seeing in the background, there's actually a modifier, the Grenadier or Grenader modifier in the battlegrounds right now. So it's making my grenade spam just a little bit more than it actually would be, or maybe a lot more. I don't know. But honestly, I wasn't really making this build for Nightfalls or anything like that. I mean, I could take it to Nightfalls if I wanted to, but I was just trying to have a fun build that you can use, just go crazy, going with a bunch of supers, Glacial Inheritance, super spam, thresh weapons, elemental well mods. So this honestly, the fact that there is a Grenader mod right now in the battlegrounds make this build that much better, because my build is focused around grenade spam and supers. I throw my grenade, I blow up the crystals, I spawn elemental well mods. That increases my grenade recharge rate from breaking them. Picking up those elemental well mods is going to increase my super regen, give me 100 intellect. So I'm pretty much running around with 100 intellect, really high discipline if I keep breaking those grenade or the stasis crystals, and I'm getting elemental wells, so I have ability spam, and I'm using Heart of Behemoth Light. This build is crazy for ability spam. Then I have my thresh weapon if I'm not able to get any of the elemental well mods, which I don't know, if I'm playing poorly then I won't be able to, but it's so easy to spawn these. Just use Whisper of Fissures, Glacial Grenades, and there you go, boom, you have so many elemental well mods. It's crazy. This build is actually making me fall in love with Behemoth again, because when I first started playing with Beyond Light, I was actually using Behemoth Titan, and then I switched to Warlock, and then the rest is history. I started using Shadebinder a ton because I absolutely love Shadebinder. But the fact that we got Howl of the Storms, there's another way we can freeze targets and create stasis crystals, and then you got Tectonic Harvest, which will give you melee energy back, and now Glacial Inheritance is a thing, plus elemental well mods are a thing. I don't know, man, this build is so much fun because I absolutely adore the super for Behemoth. I think it is so much fun. There's so much like skill potential there. It's fun to use. You're flying around the map or the battlefield with the super, slamming the ground, creating these stasis crystals. You like alter the field, and I think that is so cool. Plus it sounds amazing. I love the sound effects for all the supers, but something about Behemoth Titan, it just sounds different. I don't know, I love it. So the fact that Glacial Inheritance is a thing makes super spam that much easier, and it makes me want to play Behemoth even more. Honestly, I could probably take this build into the Nightfall if I really wanted to. I would just have to switch out some of my weapons, maybe use like an overload, or no, there's no overload this weekend. I think it's anti-barrier and unstoppable, so maybe using a pulse with unstop that has wellspring or something like that, or maybe anti-barrier sniper, although I think that costs too many mod slots. I don't know, I can't think of it at the moment. But if I really wanted to, I could take this into the Nightfall, because Behemoth Titan is actually very good for Nightfalls, because you can keep stun locking those champions, like the anti-barrier champions, making it very easy for your teammates to kill them. As for the unstoppables, I wouldn't recommend freezing them because there's like some weird interaction there where you actually don't do full damage. So I wouldn't recommend freezing the unstoppables, but as for the anti-barriers and just any other enemy, Behemoth Titan is fantastic. So go ahead and try this build out. Definitely try it out in the battlegrounds because that's where it shines. Anywhere where there's a lot of chaos, this build will thrive. So go ahead and get Glacial Inheritance if you don't have it already. I highly recommend getting it. Get all these mods and definitely try this build out. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. It truly helps me out a lot. You can also check out my other videos. Links are in the description below. I have a lot of crazy builds, so go ahead and check that out. And you might as well follow my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, both at @fat_Bloonskis. But with all that being said, deuces.